swagging your blankets up and let us haste away to the Golden Palmer, boys, where everyone, they say, can find his ounce of gold, or it might be more each day, in the golden gullies of the Palmer.
Hurrah, hurrah, we'll sound the Jubilee. Hurrah, hurrah, and we will merry be. And when we reach the diggings, boys, there the nuggets see, in the golden gullies of the Palmer.
Troubles when they come, the motto be for all. And if you miss the ladder in climbing fortune's wall, well, depend upon it, boys, you'll recover from the fall, in the golden gullies of the Palmer.
Hurrah, hurrah, we'll sound the Jubilee. Hurrah, hurrah, and we will merry be. And when we reach the diggings, boys, there the nuggets see, in the golden gullies of the Palmer.
Sound the chorus once again and sing it with a roar. Let the echoes ring, boys, along the sea and shore, until they reach the mountains where the gold is in galore, in the golden gullies of the Palmer.
Hurrah, hurrah, we'll sound the Jubilee. Hurrah, hurrah, and we will merry be. And when we reach the diggings, boys, there the nuggets see, in the golden gullies of the Palmer.
Oh, the shearing is all over and the wool is coming down, and I mean to get a wife, me boys, when I get into town. Everything that has two legs presents itself to view, from a little paddy melon to a bucking kangaroo. So it's roll up your blanket and let's make a push. I'll take you up the country and I'll show you the bush. I'll be bound with such a chance you won't get every day. So roll up and take position on the Old Bullock Dray. Oh yes, I've saved a check and I mean to get a team. When I get a wife, me boys, I'll be all serene by calling in the gamp. They say there's no delay to pick up an offsider for the Old Bullock Dray. So it's roll up your blanket and let's make a push. I'll take you up the country and I'll show you the bush. I'll be bound with such a chance you won't get every day. So roll up and take position on the Old Bullock Dray. Oh yes, I've been the damper and I'll make 'em weave enough, and I'll tell old Black Billy Jack, Joe Upper on the duff. All me friends will sing and dance for the order of the day, to see us promenading round the Old Bullock Dray. So it's roll up your blanket and let's make a push. I'll take you up the country and I'll show you the bush. I'll be bound with such a chance you won't get every day. So roll up and take position on the Old Bullock Dray. Stuff Ken in the grain shed, we won't need him anymore, and we'll have young colonial kids by the score. And I wonder what the heck Jackie Robinson will say when he sees us promenading round the Old Bullock Dray. So it's it's roll up your blanket and let's make a push. I'll take you up the country and I'll show you the bush. I'll be bound such a chance you won't get every day. So roll up and take position on the Old Bullock Dray. So it's roll up your blanket and let's make a push. I'll take you up the country and I'll show you the bush. I'll be bound such a chance you won't get every day. So roll up and take position on the Old Bullock Dray.
Back to shear the Glenborough Wool. In summer heat and on the boards where the Wolseley's coming through. Our ringer's Tommy Gibson, he's a come from Northern Town, and he shears his tally every day as the Glenborough Wool goes down. On down the winding dusty track from dawn to close of day, the punchers shout, the big whips crack while straining camels sway. So morning breaks, then a bright sun wanes till a day, then a week is gone. With creaking wheels and clinking chains, the Glenborough Wool rolls on. Come spare a thought for the lads out back who shear the Glenborough Wool. In summer heat and on the boards with the Wolseley's coming through. Our ringer's Tommy Gibson, he's a come from Northern Town, and he shears his tally every day as the Glenborough Wool goes down. Cool nights of rest while camels swell and munch the mulga near, while hobble chains and doleful bell will lull the puncher's ear. 2 more long days from Rocky Pool and then Carnarvon Town. By creek, by hill, by sandy trail, the Glenborough Wool goes down. Come spare a thought for the lads out back who shear the Glenborough Wool. In summer heat and on the boards with the Wolseley's coming through. Our ringer's Tommy Gibson, he's a come from Northern Town, and he shears his tally every day as the Glenborough Wool goes down. The ramp outside the wool shed door holds yet another load. So yoke the camel teams once more and take the wagon load. The shaft is brought, the leaders pull, the wheels creak dismally, and 60 bales of Glenborough wool roll westward to the sea. Come spare a thought for the lads out back who shear the Glenborough Wool. In summer heat and on the boards with the Wolseley's coming through. Our ringer's Tommy Gibson, he's a come from Northern Town, and he shears his tally every day as the Glenborough Wool goes down. Me boys, the Glenborough Wool goes down. Me boys, the Glenborough Wool goes down.
When shearing comes, lay down your drums. Step on the board, you brand new chums, with a raw dummeroo and a rub-a-dub-dub. Send you back to the lime juice tub, because you've crossed the briny deep. Fancy you can shear a sheep with a raw dummeroo and a rub-a-dub-dub. Send you home in a lime juice tub. The brand new chums and Cockies sons fancy that they're all great guns. They fancy they can shear the wool, but the beggars can only tear and pull. Tar the sheep till they're nearly black. Roll up and get the sack. Once more they're away on the wallaby track. Once more they look for the shearing out. And when they meet up on the road, off the back throw down their loads. At the sun they'll take a look, saying, reckon it's time to press the cook. We camp in huts without any doors, sleep upon the deadly floor, with a paddock and a flour and a sheet of bark to wallop up a damper in the dark. 22s, you never need fret. To show you up, I'll not forget. For I'm the man who's ready to bet. You're over your heels, steadfast in debt. Although you live beyond your means, your daughters wear no crinolines, nor make trouble with boots and shoes, for the wild in the bush or the kangaroos. It's home I'd like to be, not humping me drum in the back country. 16,000 miles I've come to march along with a blanket drum.
Come gather round, you sailor lads, and listen to me song. And when you've heard it through, you'll pity me. For I was a bloody fool in the port of Liverpool the first time that I came home from sea. I was paid off at the Hove from a trip to Sydney Cove, and £2.10 a month was all me pay. Then I started drinking gin, and I was neatly taken in by a little girl they all called Maggie May. Oh Maggie, Maggie May, they have taken you away to slave upon the cold Van Diemen shore. Well, you're up so many whalers and you know so many sailors, you'll never cruise down Live Street anymore. It was a damned unlucky day that I first met Maggie May. She was cruising up and down Old Canning Place. She had a figure fine, like a frigate of the line, and me being a sailor I gave chase. But in the morning when I woke, stiff and sore and stony broke, no trousers, coat or waistcoat I could find. The landlady said, sir, I can tell you where they are. They'll be in Stanley's Hook Shop number 9. Oh Maggie, Maggie May, they have taken you away to slave upon the cold Van Diemen shore. Well, you're up so many whalers and you know so many sailors, you'll never cruise down Live Street anymore. To the bobby on his beat at the corner of the street, to him I went, to him I told me tale. He looked as if in doubt, said, does your mother know you're out? But agreed the lady ought to be in jail. Oh Maggie, Maggie May, they have taken you away to slave upon the cold Van Diemen shore. Well, you're up so many whalers and you know so many sailors, you'll never cruise down my street anymore. To the Hook Shop I applied, no trousers there I spied. The bobbies came and took that girl away. The jury guilty found her for the robbing of a homeward bounder and paid her passage out to Botany Bay. Oh Maggie, Maggie May, they have taken you away to slave upon the cold Van Diemen shore. Oh, you're up so many whalers and you know so many sailors, you'll never cruise down Lime Street anymore.
North to the Faroe Islands, south to the Gulf of Spain, west with the whaling fleet and up to the pole again. Over the world of waters, 17 seas we've strayed. Now to the north we're sailing back to the trawling trade.
Come, you bold seafaring lads, there's fortunes to be made in the trawling trade.
Back to the fish dock land and back to the fish dock smell, back to the frozen winter, back to the wintry hell, back to the strangest game that ever a man has played. Follow the stormy rollers back to the trawling trade.
Come, you bold seafaring lads, there's fortunes to be made in the trawling trade.
Down with your nets and tackle, down with your nets and gear. Wait for the winches wind and wait for the deckies sheer. Up with the shining harvest, glittering silver spray, down to the decks below to pay for the trawling trade.
Come, you bold seafaring lads, there's fortunes to be made in the trawling trade.
Over the polar ice winds, back to the humber tide, down to the water's edge and down to the water's side. Home with the brawling bunch of fishermen newly paid, down to the dockside pubs to drink to the trawling trade.
Come, you bold seafaring lads, there's fortunes to be made in the trawling trade. Come, you bold seafaring lads, there's fortunes to be made in the trawling trade. North to the Faroe Islands, south to the Gulf of Spain, west with the whaling fleet and up to the pole again. Over the world of water, 17 seas we've strayed. Now to the north we're sailing, back to the trawling trade. Come, you bold seafaring lads, there's fortunes to be made in the trawling trade.
Hurrah for the old stock saddle and hurrah for the stock whip too. Hurrah for the baldy pony boys to carry me westward ho. To carry me westward ho, me boys, that's where the cattle stray. From the far Baku where they eat nor do, 1,000 miles away. So give your horses rein across the open plain. We'll crack our whips like a thunderbolt, nor care what some folks say. Nor care what some folks say, me boys, that's where the cattle stray. From the far Baku where they eat nor do, 1,000 miles away. Knee-deep in grass we've got to pass, and the truth I'm bound to tell, where in 3 weeks the cattle get as fat as they can swell. As fat as they can swell, me boys, 1,000 pounds they weigh. From the far Baku where they eat nor do, 1,000 miles away. So give your horses rein across the open plain. We'll crack our whips like a thunderbolt, no care what some folks say. No care what some folks say, me boys, that's where the cattle stray. From the far Baku where they eat nor do, 1,000 miles away. No Yankee hide ever grew outside such beef as we can freeze. No Yankee pastures grew such beef as we send overseas. As we send overseas, me boys, 1,000 pounds they weigh. From the far Baku and the Flinders too, 1,000 miles away. So give your horses rein across the open plain. We'll crack our whips like a thunderbolt, nor care what some folks say. Nor care what some folks say, me boys, that's where the cattle stray. From the far Baku where they eat nor do, 1,000 miles away. So fix me up with a snaffle and a 4 or 5 inch spur, and 14 foot of green height whip that'll burn the flamin' fur. We'll yard them stumpy cattle in a way that's safe to swear. We'll make the new South Welshmen there sit back in the saddle and stare. So give your horses rein across the open plain. We'll crack our whips like a thunderbolt, nor care what some folks say. Nor care what some folks say, me boys, that's where the cattle stray. From the far Baku where they eat nor do, 1,000 miles away.
Farewell and adieu to you ladies of Brisbane, farewell and adieu All you girls of Toowong, for we've sold all our cattle, and we cannot now linger, but we hope we shall see you again before long. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Queensland drovers. We'll rant and we'll roar as onwards we push, until we return to the Ogathilla station, for it's lame and dry going to the old Queensland bush. The first camp we make, we will call it the Quart Pot, Caboolture, then Kilcoy and Collington's hut. We'll pull up at Stonehouse, Bob Williamson's paddock, and early next morning we'll cross the Blackbutt. Then on to Taramio and Yarraman Creek, lads, it's there we will make a fine camp for the day, where the water and grass are both plenty and good, lads, and maybe we'll butcher a fat little stray. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Queensland drovers. We'll rant and we'll roar as onwards we push, until we return to the Ogathilla station, for it's lame and dry going to the old Queensland bush. Then on to Nanango, that hard-bitten township, where the out-of-work station hands sit in the dust, and the shearers get shorn by old Tim's the contractor. Oh, I wouldn't go by there, but I flamin' well must. Now the girls of Tumancy, they look so entrancing, those beautiful lassies all ready for fun, to the waltz and the polka and all kinds of dancing, to the old concertina of Mark Danielson. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Queensland drovers. We'll rant and we'll roar as onwards we push, until we return to the Ogathilla station, for it's lame and dry going to the old Queensland bush. So fill up your glasses and drink to the lasses. We'll drink this town dry and then farewell to all, and when we return once again from Ogathilla, we'll always be willing to pay you a call. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Queensland drovers. We'll rant and we'll roar as onwards we push, until we return to the Ogathilla station, for it's lame and dry going to the old Queensland bush.
At his gate each shearer stood as the whistle loudly blew, with eyebrows fixed and lips drawn back, the tigers all fell to. You can hear the clicking of the shears as through the wool they glide, and see that ringer already turned and on the whip inside.
A lot of Lachlan Tigers, it's plain to see we are. Our ringer keeps on driving as he loudly calls for tar. Tar here cries the duffer, and quick the tar boy flies. Swing those dirty locks away, another loudly cries.
The scene, it is a lively one and not to be admired. There hasn't been a better board since Jackie Howe expired. And on the board our gaffer walks, his face all in a frown, and passing by our ringer there he says, "My lad, keep down."
A lot of Lachlan Tigers, it's plain to see we are. Our ringer keeps on driving as he loudly calls for tar.
Tar
Here cries the duffer, and quick the tar boy flies. Swing those dirty locks away, another loudly cries.
For I must have the bellies off and top knots too likewise. Me eye is quick, so none of your tricks, or from me you will fly. The curses on our gaffer, he's never on our side. To shear a decent tally, boys, in vain I've often tried.
A lot of Lachlan Tigers, it's plain to see we are. Our ringer keeps on driving as he loudly calls for tar.
Tar
Here cries the duffer, and quick the tar boy flies. Swing those dirty locks away, another loudly cries.
At his gate each shearer stood as the whistle loudly blew, With eyebrows fixed and lips drawn back, the tigers all fell to. You can hear the clicking of the shears as through the wool they glide, and see that ringer already turned and on the whip inside.
A lot of Lachlan Tigers, it's plain to see we are. Our ringer keeps on driving as he loudly calls for tar.
Tar!
He cries it up and quick the tar boy flies. Sweep those dirty locks away, another loudly cries.
I have a pair of wooden pins that are both bright and new. I'll rig them up and I'll let you see what I can really do. For I've shown 'em on the riverine with a shear 'em by the scar, but such a terror sister clip I never saw before.
A lot of Lachlan Tigers, it's plain to see we are. Our ringer keeps on driving as he loudly calls for tar. Tar here cries it upper and quick the tar boy flies. Sweep those dirty locks away, another loudly cries. A lot of Lachlan Tigers, it's plain to see we are. Our ringer keeps on driving as he loudly calls for tar.
Tar
Here cries it upper and quick the tar boy flies. Sweep those dirty locks away, another loudly cries.
pots and the old tin cans, the mash, the corn, the barley and the bran. When like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, Barney. Keep your eyes will peel today, for the big tall men, they're on their way, searching for the mountain tea in the hills of Connemara. Gather up the pots and the old tin cans, the mash, the corn, the barley and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, Barney. Swing to your left and swing to your right, the excise men will dance all night, searching for the tea to the broad daylight in the hills of Connemara. Gather up the pots and the old tin cans, the mash, the corn, the barley and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, Barney. Mountain breezes as they flow, hear their echo in the glen below. The big tall men, they're on their go in the hills of Connemara. Gather up the pots and the old tin cans, the mash, the corn, the barley and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, Barney. A quart for Tom, a pint for dear old Father John, to help the poor old dear along in the hills of Connemara. Gather up the pots and the old tin cans, the mash, the corn, the barley and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, Barney. Stand your ground, boys, it's too late, the excise men are at the gate. Glory be, they're dancing all night in the hills of Connemara. Gather up the pots and the old tin cans, the mash, the corn, the barley and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising, Barney.
Out on the board, the old Shears stands, pressed in his shears in his thin bony hand. Fixed is his gaze on the bare-bellied Joe, though if he gets her, won't he make the ringer go? Click go the shears, boys, click, click, click. Wide is his blow and his hands move quick. The ringer looks around and is beaten by a blow, and curses he'll snag her with the bare-bellied Joe. The tar boy is there, waiting in demand, with his blackened tar pot in his tarry hand. Spies one old sheep with the cot upon its back. He hears what he's waiting for, it's tar here, Jack. Click go the shears, boys, click, click, click. Wide is his blow and his hands move quick. The ringer looks around and is beaten by a blow, and curses he'll snag her with the bare-bellied Joe. The clone experienced man, he is there of course, with his shiny leggings on, he just got off his horse. Gazes all around him like a real connoisseur, scented soap and brilliantine, it's smelling like a whore. Click go the shears, boys, click, click, click. Wide is his blow and his hands move quick. The ringer looks around and is beaten by a blow, and curses he'll snag her with the bare-bellied Joe. Let's shear a while. Shearing is all over, we've all got our checks, so roll up your swags and it's off down the track. The first pub we come to, it's there, we'll have a spree, and everyone that comes along, let's have a drink with me. Click go the shears, boys, click, click, click. Wide is his blow and his hands move quick. The ringer looks around and is beaten by a blow, and curses he'll snag her with the bare-bellied Joe. Down at the bar, the old Shears stands, grasping his glass in a thin bony hand. Fixed is his gaze on the green painted keg. Glory, he'll get down in that dirty Shears a leg. Click go the Shears boys, click, click, click. Wide is his blow and his hands move quick. The ringer looks around and is beaten by a blow, and curses the old snagger with the bare-bellied yo. There we leave him standing, shouting for hands, whilst all around him every shouter stands. His eye is on the king, which now is roaring fast. He works hard, he drinks hard, and goes to hell at last. Click go the Shears boys, click, click, click. Wide is his blow and his hands move quick. The ringer looks around and is beaten by a blow, and curses the old snagger with the bare-bellied yo.
Come all you convicts bold and true, and listen to me tale of a transportee who couldn't refuse to stay in Fremantle jail. 10 years was his sentence along for the stealing. He was taken out 2 cheeses and 2 loaves of bread and a piece of dog chewed bacon. After serving 10 years, Joe was freed and he moved out of town, but only spent 5 days before they tried to drag him down. Arrested and then jailed on suspicion of bush ranging. Joe says, me boys, I'll not stay here another 10 years caging. Away, away, Moondyne Joe's away. The convicts smile, the screws they roar, Moondyne Joe's away. The traps they then took after Joe and brought him back to town. Sentenced him to 14 years, will keep this rascal down. For no evidence of bush ranging could those police find to charge him. 3 years was a lessening boy for trying to escape him. Again Joe served his time and left the jail of bars and locks. Once again Bold Joe was cut for the stealing of the locks. 10 more years they sentenced him, he swore he would not stay. 4 months later hear the cry, Moondyne Joe's away. Away, away, Moondyne Joe's away. The convicts smile, the screws they roar, Moondyne Joe's away. Again those traps they followed Joe, he's caught to finish time. 11 years in jail with 1 in irons, that magistrate did sign. Moondyne Joe wrote out his case, pleading false arrest. That judge agreed, took off 4 years, but made him serve the rest. They built a special cell for him with a ring set in the floor. 10 bars upon the window, 10 bolts upon the door. Joe tried to escape again, we'll have him till he dies. He dug a hole just like a mole, and once again the cry. Away, away, Moondyne Joe's away. The convicts smile, the screws they roar, Moondyne Joe's away. This time Joe took to bush ranging, and Highlands was his goal. For 2 short months he rode the bush until the traps did call. The bullets flew, 1 man was down, the police went on too well. Once again, Bold Joe was caught and thrown back into jail. He took a job in prison, lads, in the carpenter's workshop. The warders caught him making a key for his front door lock. 6 more months in irons he got in his special prison cell. In solitary confinement there, but his spirits never fell. Another letter, it was written out in Moondyne Joe's own hand, delivered to the governor, seated in his house so grand, to tell his own story and on the law's delight. The governor's written a pardon, and it's Moondyne Joe's away. Away, away, Moondyne Joe's away. The convicts smile, the screws they roar, Moondyne Joe's away.
In South Australia I was born, heave away, haul away. South Australia round Cape Horn, and we're bound for South Australia. Heave away, you ruler kings, heave away, haul away. Heave away, now hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. As I walked down one morning fair
Blair, heave away, haul away. Then I met Miss Nancy Blair, bound for South Australia. Heave away, your ruler kings, heave away, haul away. Heave away, now hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. I'll tell the truth, I'll tell no lie. Heave away, haul away. Love that girl till the day I die. Bound for South Australia. Heave away, your ruler kings, heave away, haul away. Heave away, now hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. As you wallop around Cape Horn, heave away, haul away. You wish to heaven you'd never been born, bound for South Australia. Heave away, your ruler kings, heave away, haul away. Heave away, now hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. Now I'm on a foreign strand, heave away, haul away. Nothing but brandy in my hand, bound for South Australia. Heave away, your ruler kings, heave away, haul away. Heave away, now hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. Toast to the foreign shore, heave away, haul away. To the girl that I adore, bound for South Australia. Heave away, your ruler kings, heave away, haul away. Heave away, now hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia. Heave away, your ruler kings, heave away, haul away. Heave away, now hear me sing, we're bound for South Australia.
We sailed from Cork on a windy day with a dark and a cloudy sky. And far astern upon the quay the women sat and cried, as we were young and out for fun with which as we could find. Lift your glass and drink a toast to the girls we leave behind. Oh Paddy dear, drink up your beer, we're leaving in the morn. Aboard a ship the Ulster Ray for Australia round the Horn. Oh Paddy dear, drink up your beer, we're leaving in the morn. Aboard a ship the Ulster Ray for West Australia round the Horn. Our brother Jack was a sailor man aboard the Black Ball line. He jumped his ship in Albany and now he's doing fine. The letter that he wrote to us said, come and join me here. So we're off to Albany in the morn without a doubt or fear. Oh Paddy dear, drink up your beer, we're leaving in the morn. Aboard a ship the Ulster Ray for Australia round the Horn. Oh Paddy dear, drink up your beer, we're leaving in the morn. Aboard a ship the Ulster Ray for West Australia round the Horn. Jack has a farm near Albany with livestock by the score. He says the trees near touch the sky can carry, so we're told. And sailing ships arrive each day with diggers out for gold. And 100 whales are plainly seen to frolic in the Sound. Oh Paddy dear, drink up your beer, we're leaving in the morn. Aboard a ship the Ulster Ray for Australia round the Horn. Oh Paddy dear, drink up your beer, we're leaving in the morn. Aboard a ship the Ulster Ray for West Australia round the Horn. And now we're underway, me boys, the ship loudly sounds. The quay is now well out of sight and we are seaward bound. And as they round the passage west, the good ship gets filled sail. A parting glance to Aaron's eye from the slaying ship deck rail. Oh, Paddy dear, drink up your beer, we're leaving in the morn. Aboard the ship, the Ray for Australia round the Horn. Oh, Paddy dear, drink up your beer, we're leaving in the morn. Aboard the ship, the Ray for West Australia round the Horn.
Now all you blokes take my advice and do your daily toil, but don't go down to Bungaree to work in the chocolate soil. For the days they are so long, me boys, they'll break your heart in two. And if ever you work for Cocky back, you very soon will know. On the first Monday morning shirt to work I had to go. My noble Cocky says to me, get up, you're rather slow. The moon was shining gloriously and the stars were out, you see. I thought before the sun would rise I'd die in Bungaree. We used to go to bed, you know, a little bit after dark. The room we used to sleep in, it was just like Noah's Ark. There were dogs and cats and mice and rats and pigs and poultry. I'll never forget the time we had while down in Bungaree. Oh, he called me to me breakfast before the sun could shine. He called me to me supper at 8:30 or 9. And after tea was over, oh, with a merry laugh, that damned old Cocky says to me, we'll cut a bit of chaff. Now when you are chaff cutting, boys, isn't it a spell? Yes, by Joe, says I, it isn't, it's me that knows it well. For many of these fellows who think they disagree, for I hate the bloody night work that they do in Bungaree. We used to go to bed, you know, a little bit after dark. The room we used to sleep in, it was just like Noah's Ark. There were dogs and cats and mice and rats and pigs and poultry. I'll never forget the time we had while down in Bungaree. When me first report goes up, I reckon I'd had enough. I goes up to the Cocky and I asked him for me stuff. I went straight into Ballarat and it didn't take me long. I marched right to the Railway Hotel and blew me £1.1. So come all you weary travellers that out of work just mind, come take a trip to Bungaree and plenty there you'll find. Take a trial with the Cocky, I'm sure you will agree. You'll very likely rue the day you first saw Bungaree. We used to go to bed, you know, a little bit after dark. The room we used to sleep in, it was just like Noah's Ark. There were dogs and cats and mice and rats and pigs and poultry. I'll never forget the time we had while down in Bungaree.
You all know well, and it's bringing the cattle over. Listen while I tell to you how I became a drover. I wanted stock from Queensland to Kimsey, I did wander. Joined a mob of duffers and became an overlander.
Pass the ball around, boys, don't you leave them stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every overlander.
The cattle were all mustered and the outfit ready to start. I saw the boys all mounted with their gear upon their carts. All sorts of men I had from Spain, Germany and Flanders, doctors, lawyers, black and white, me mob of overlanders.
Pass the ball around, boys, don't you leave them stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every overlander.
From the road I then fared out where the grass was green and young, when a squatter with a curse and shout said, "Hey you, move along!" Said I to him, "Now strike it mild and don't you raise me dander, for I'm a regular known child of Queensland overlander."
Pass the ball around, boys, don't you leave them stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every overlander.
Well, they swore he found me cattle, but I bullied him that time. They very seldom saw me out and never got the fine. They thought I lived on bully beef, but no, I'm not a gander. When a straggler joins the herd, he'll do, cries the Overlander.
Pass the bottle round, boys, don't you leave 'em stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every Overlander.
Now if the horses get done up, of course we'll set 'em free, and then a cove will walk in on a sweater he can see. Their work is to me bone, and they'll say it is no slander, but say there's many a clever trick done by an Overlander.
Pass the bottle round, boys, don't you leave 'em stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every Overlander.
3, 4, now I was going to steal a shirt and that me mates can say, but if we pass a township and it's on the washing day, the nerdy brats and kids all shout and quickly raise me dander, crying, mother dear, bring in the gear, here comes the Overlander.
Pass the bottle round, boys, don't you leave 'em stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every Overlander.
In town we drink the wine cup and go to see the play. We never think of being hot up or how to spend the day. We steer up to the pretty girls that rig themselves with grandeur. While they sweat our checks, they swear they love the Overlander.
Pass the bottle round, boys, don't you leave 'em stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every Overlander.